how live stream is going to work out on a mobile device with my US mobile connection. And yeah, so I'm not on any Wi-Fi right now. So anyone that joins in on the chat or whatever, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and just let me know real quick, um, let me know if the stream is working out okay, whatnot. I could check for myself on my end. Um, Actually, I'll do that too. Just to be sure and just to be safe. So, okay. Oh, it looks like the stream is okay. Looks like it is. So that'd be cool, honestly. Anyways, yeah, so I thought, in this live stream, I thought I would go ahead and just kind of like talk about like some of the plans, these days. There's like different types of prepaid carriers and whatnot, and you literally could take advantage of any of these price wise, any of that stuff. You can take advantage of it and have a much more affordable phone service plan. So I'm gonna look through some of these plans here and just kind of talk about them. I know they have like some of these have like promotional deals going on right now, and you definitely could take advantage of those promotional deals. But that's not like like the major base of like the plan cost. So we're looking at plans that are generally around 25 bucks. Some of them are a little bit more expensive, but they're right around the same category. What do they offer? Like what stands out for them and stuff like that. And I could have done this in a podcast format, but I just figured, like I wanted to go live and just kind of talk straight with everybody, just this type of live streaming, this type of just reading chats, responding, and then looking at some of these plans here. So that's why it's not in like the usual like podcast style format. Streamed from my PC, streamed from my mobile device, and testing US Mobile's Dark Star, as that's the plan that I have. So for those who want to know, like the plan that I chose to go to for the foreseeable future is US Mobile. I'm on the Dark Star connection, and I'm on the $25 starter plan. So it's like fully unlimited, I guess, to that extent and to that degree. But I wanted to just kind of look around and see too. You know what I mean? Like these days, picking a phone service provider is like a game of musical chairs. Like you're consistently trying to figure out what the best option is going to be for you and what certain ones are offering. And so you got to kind of like look into all the different options. So, like for instance, Visible by Verizon, it seems to be a very popular one that a lot of people like going to, and that's because they got multiple different plans. And currently, right now, they do have like a holiday special. So it started out being like a Black Friday type of thing, and it's been extended further, and it's with their promo code Switch 26, which basically means 26 months at this price before it goes back to its normal price of 25 bucks. So that would be Visible's base plan, and it's $19 a month if you use the promo code. But again, it fits around that $25 mark because once that promotion is over, your plan is at 25 bucks. And what you do get with that plan is unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. And the coolest thing about Visible, to be honest with everybody, just talking as a casual person, the coolest thing about Visible is that, it's fully unlimited. Yes, there's a priority level access that, you have to consider, but also their hotspot is like fully unlimited. So you get full like, you know, hotspot. There's no threshold. There's no stopping point to it. The only thing that you would need to understand about their hotspot is the speeds. The speeds are capped. So the speeds are capped basically at like what 5 megabits per second on the uplink and the downlink, but that's still good enough to connect something like your laptop or something like that to basically have it tether from it to have data usage and everything when you're like out and about on the fly or maybe you're traveling. So this is like one of the biggest strong points for Visible. Like, forget about the unlimited, the Visible Plus or Visible Plus Pro or whatever it's called, and just seriously focus on just Visible in itself. Um, the only the only downside is it only uses one network connectivity, which is Verizon. So people who are really going to benefit from Visible are going to be the ones that have good Verizon coverage in their area, and that is that. There's really nothing else that that it connects to. It doesn't connect to AT&T or T-Mobile. Which is kind of cool though, because I just seen this right now. Get a Google Pixel 10 on us. So join now. Get a Google Pixel 10, 128 gigabyte on us with purchase of the Visible Plus Pro annual plan. Use promo code Pixel 10 required. So if you buy like the annual Pro plan, and you pay all that huge money up front, you get a Pixel 10 on them. So that's cool. That's pretty nice. That's something that I would say like it would be great around you know those who get a tax refund. You're looking to upgrade to a new phone, you might want to like step into a Google Pixel 10 if that's what you've been looking for. But just generally speaking, Visible, I I've had the pleasure to work with them. They're pretty solid, and for their base plan being 25 bucks, that's pretty solid. I think a lot of us kind of get wrapped up in all this, thing of like, it's got to have like the super fastest speeds ever. And everyone's all concerned about gigabit per second speed, but it's like, we're not really doing anything on our phones that would require that high amount of data speeds. It's all about network quality, connectivity. That's what matters most. And so at 25 bucks a month with Visible, that is a really good deal. Um, and it's only 25 bucks. So yeah. Now, if you're comparing it to like Verizon postpaid, obviously there's limitations that Visible has. Of course, their priority level access is going to be lower because they are, in fact, prepaid. This is like the game of the telco industry, right? It's like you're going to get the best out of Visible. It's going to be really good speeds at 25 bucks a month. That's like solid as hell. Um, But like if you're like wanting to have priority data, right, where your data runs faster than the other people on the network, obviously then they're gonna like pitch for you to go to Verizon and sign up with the Verizon postpaid plan. Of course, you're paying out more money because you're paying out for a more premium access and whatnot. But you know, at the end of the day, saving money is like the thing to do just because everything costs so much more nowadays. Like everything is just so expensive. And so if you can just kind of slightly cut the corners to have phone service, it's always a good thing. If you're willing to change phone numbers and maybe use Google Voice number as a permanent option, um, entry level deals are helpful. Yeah, I mean, for someone who phone hops, who hops from provider to provider, Google Voice is like king because you never have to give people a different phone number. Um, they always get the same number. But that's one of the things though that just kind of like gets a bit frustrating with Google Voice, and that's the lack of RCS compatibility, which is again, so many people can talk about it. And I know that Google Voice has responded. The Google Voice team has responded and said, that it's primarily VoIP for business phone calls and stuff like that. But you have a lot of people using Google Voice, and they're not using it because it's a business thing. They use it because they use it as a primary phone number. So whatever phone they have, if they have multiple phones or computer or laptop, they can make phone calls and stuff. And so messaging people with that is one of the things that's offered. I mean, if you have no interest in a feature in your product, then why do you include it? And they include text messaging. So, I use Google Voice for a lot of 2FAs just because, I don't have to worry about, if I cancel service or if I port my number and the port fails, I lose that phone number. So I lose 2FA, I don't have to worry about that. Google Voice will always be what I use for 2FA. So I feel like Google Voice really does need to take its own thing and implement RCS. I've been using InfoMobile or InfiniMobile. InfiniMobile on my second phone for like the last 18 months, and I paid 20 bucks for 6 months at 5 gigabytes, and then 60 bucks for 12 months at. Okay. Oh, getting notifications. Literally, that's 80 bucks for 18 months worth of coverage. Nice, nice. Not bad at all. Not bad. How's it going? Hello, bro. How's it going? Yeah, that's not too bad at all. Surrounding, basically like the plans that we have today, right? So like if you have Visible and you have Google Voice, that actually like it couples together. U.S. buddy, I'm from the U.S. It couples together really good just because of the fact that you have like all that unlimited data to be able to use, and then if you use Google Voice obviously VoIP calling, so you basically you're making phone calls and you're doing your messaging over the Verizon network. So, but that's for like Verizon. Um, Love from India. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I catch every now and then when I go live. When I go live, there's like a few people from India that jump in on my live stream and watch. So big shout out to India. You get an iPhone 12 mini for free if you buy $120 worth of 3 months from Straight Talk. iPhone 13 instead. I like a mini before it comes too late. Yeah, those are pretty good deals. But no, as I'm saying, like in this hangout sesh, I'm just going over like what are the top $25 plans or roughly around $25 plans in the U.S. That people may not know about. I mean, a lot of us do. Those that like watch YouTube videos about tech and the telco and 5G expansions and all this other stuff. Like we pretty much like have an idea. But there are still people out there that don't really have an idea. Like Boost Mobile has a $25 plan, but theirs is like, again, for 25 bucks, like you really gotta like start looking at like what you're getting for it. For 25 bucks, you get 30 gigs of premium data. That's 30 gigs, and today just about what a lot of what we do on our phones really requires data. So I've never really understood why they haven't started to raise the bar on the plans that are limited with premium data. Like everything that you do requires it. Your email obviously requires it. When you send RCS messages, it requires data. When you do phone calls today, it's voice over LTE or voice over NR, and that requires data. So a lot of things you do require data. So like that's why just looking at like 30 gigs of premium data, it's really kind of tough to kind of deal with. And I know from the MVNOs out there, like their perspective is like most people don't go over 30 gigs of data because they have home Wi-Fi, but not everybody has home Wi-Fi, or if they do have some sort of home Wi-Fi, it's not the most reliable. I mean, that's like one of the problems with the Midwest, right? In rural areas here across the United States, that's like one of the biggest problems that people have is being able to use internet or like the type of internet that they use. Like my dad just recently got upgraded, right? Like he's with AT&T and he just got upgraded. They reached out to him and told him that they were no longer doing home phone service, so they had to port his home phone number, which he's had for years. I think since way back since 2000. So he's had it for like 25 years. And so they set up an eSIM on his phone, and then they migrated his home phone number onto that eSIM connection. So now his phone with AT&T has two SIMs, one for his mobile phone number, one for the home phone number that he's had for 25 years. So he's running dual SIM. And it's so funny because he talked to me about the other day trying to get it configured and set up, and I was like, man, it was tough, but AT&T is doing that. And then of course he had AT&T internet, and they're sending him the home internet air, which is what I have. Because I have two home internets. I have the T-Mobile home internet and then the AT&T one. And so my dad's getting that, and that's what he's going to have for home internet going forward. But it's going to be a little bit more faster because of what he had before. With it wasn't dial-up connection, but it was pretty much like DSL. Um, like top out max download speeds was like 5.6 megabits per second on the download and like 1 megabit per second on the upload. It was really bad. So that's a pretty good deal. You could conceivably come away with emoji styles 2025, pay $80 for 2 months and get it unlocked and then get a TCL. Next paper tablet for an extra. Yeah, yeah. That's not bad of a deal. Yeah, that's if it's like someone that's looking for like a new device, right? Some people just have their device and they don't want to look for a new device, and so they're just looking to get a cheaper plan. That's like the idea. That's what I'm just talking about in this. But that actually is a pretty good deal if you're wanting to upgrade. Magical Mermaid, what's up? Welcome. Like if you're wanting to like get a new, new device, maybe some, additional perks, that seems like a pretty good plan to kind of just move up to. Boost Mobile just, I mean, they don't have a leg to stand on in this, and it's not that I'm being like biased to any provider out there. Like my thing is to tell people is like when it comes to carrier services, show no loyalty to them. Because at the end of the day, they really don't care about you. They just care about the money that you make and that what you're willing to pay to them. And that's the cold hard reality of it. So like when I see all these like, arguments about like, oh, you're a Boost Mobile hater or you're a T-Mobile hater, like it's just pretty juvenile just because it's like why? Why even care? Like stop being loyal to these companies. Like I'm not loyal to any company. Not. I have my picks. I have the ones that I like. I have the ones that I think you get good value out of what you're paying for monthly. But at the end of the day, um, if they do something stupid or something that doesn't make sense, I'm not all hung up on being loyal to them that I'm just going to, um, you know, think everything they do is gold, right? This just doesn't make sense to do that. They don't. I don't make money off of them. They don't pay me anything. I don't work for those companies. My life is not tied up to those companies. So why even be loyal to them? That is the realization of things. So Boost Mobile, in my opinion, even though it's like $25 a month, and I know they're running a promo right now where like the first 3 months is $10. It's like $25 a month. I don't. Yeah, I just don't see that being super beneficial. I mean, they use AT&T, and there's other companies out there that you can get AT&T access at $25 a month. That's better than Boost Mobile. I'm thinking Boost will change its plans next year when their sales goes through. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, my wishful thinking for Boost Mobile is that they knock it off with these less than enticing plans and just kind of go in, against like companies like US Mobile, right? So like if you wanted like fully unlimited AT&T connection at $25 a month, I would recommend US Mobile. And I would recommend US Mobile because if you're on their starter plan, which is $25 a month, and you choose Dark Star is fully uncapped. So like if you're on the 25 starter from US Mobile on Warp, which is 5G, it's Verizon, it's like 70 gigs of high speed data before you're slowed down. And with T-Mobile, it's limited also. Like you have a limited amount. Um, Dark Star, which is AT&T, is the only one that's uncapped. So that you have AT&T connection there. Of course, it's QCI 9, so you're not going to get like the same as AT&T postpaid, but it's truly unlimited. There's not a point where you know if you pass so many gigs, you're slowed down for the rest of the month. Like the only time you'll experience slowdown on the unlimited starter with US Mobile is in times of congestion. Then you'll experience very sluggish speeds. But US Mobile does offer basically true unlimited on the AT&T service plan. So um, that would be what I would recommend over Boost Mobile's $25 plan, which limits you to 30. Now, hopefully one day Boost Mobile does a full unlimited. I think that would be good. I think that would be good because again, even though Boost Mobile has a tarnished name, and most people look at Boost Mobile and they're like, oh, Budget Tech Reviews, what's up, man? Yo, if Boost Mobile has a bad reputation, it's still a name that a lot of people recognize, right? Like they always say this, bad press is better than no press, So if Boost Mobile was to turn things around, let's say they do, let's say like they just stop it with all these weird ass plans they have, and they do like a $25 unlimited, and maybe that $25 unlimited doesn't have hotspot, and then they do a $30 unlimited that gives like 10 gigs of hotspot, and then they do a $50 unlimited that kind of rivals Visible. I mean, there's ways they can have a tiered plan if they want, but me personally, I would just honestly say like Boost should just configure to something like what Visible's doing. But again, because of the sale of their spectrum and everything like that, like people are just like, oh, it's a good thing for Boost Mobile. Like Boost Mobile is going to be doing good, but now Boost Mobile's at the mercy of AT&T, and this is something that I keep telling everybody. Like when you attack MVNOs because of like the type of plans they're offering, and you think to yourself like, what stupid person came up with this plan at Mint Mobile or at you know Boost or whatever. You have to remember that they rely on an MNO. The MNOs have the power, which is the mobile network operators, the ones that have a network built out, like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. They have the power. And this is the other reason why people wanted a fourth carrier, because now only having three carriers, you only got so many places where you can go. And they're all charging nearly about the same, right? So then you have to go with prepaid and MVNOs. But again, MVNOs don't have the power. Um, a former boss of mine, Peter Adderton, said this on X. I know it was like a week ago, and he's absolutely right. And that's Visible, which is owned by Verizon. So technically, Visible is not an MVNO because it's owned by Verizon. So it's just one of Verizon prepaids, subsidiaries. And Visible can do a plan where their plan's only $19 a month. They're allowed to do that. They can because I mean it's owned and operated by Verizon, and Verizon's trying to compete against companies like Mobile X. And Mobile X can only do so much. Like they can give you a $25 plan, and they tried for a while to give it to you where it was fully unlimited. That was probably one of the best and most pinnacle times of Mobile X, was being able to give that to you for $25. Um, but yeah, it's the craziest thing. What's up with the ET programming? What are they looking for? That's funny. That's funny as hell. The ET. Okay. Let's see. I recently switched to Red Pocket. I've been loving it so far. They have a new promo. You'll get unlimited calls and data for $15 a month for the next 3 months when you bring your own phone number. That's a pretty good deal. Boost should be worldwide with Starlink, but probably a year away. Um, Maybe be kind of hard though because in Australia they have Boost Australia, which is which was sold to Telstra. So being worldwide would just be like a little bit weird, just because Boost Australia has Boost Australia, and I don't think Telstra wants to do any type of collaboration with with Starlink or any of that. Shit, maybe they're trying to find a secret black hole. That's funny as hell. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Boost will ever dig itself out of a hole. I mean, you have people running the company that just like it doesn't make sense to them. It really doesn't. They, the things that they put in place. I mean, like they had this whole idea that Boost Mobile was going to become the fourth carrier in the U.S. And they really had big ambitions for it. And when I was working for the company, that's just when they first started. So that's when it was known as Boost Infinite, and they were really trying to get out there to get people to see, like, they offered $25 a month, 30 gigs of high speed data. And everyone's confusion was always the same. It was like, what makes you different from Boost Mobile? And you have to explain, like, Boost Mobile's our sister company and they're prepaid. You paid for services first and then you use it, and we're postpaid. You use the services and we bill you after. And then they started adding in all these added features, and it was like, um, hold on. Oh yeah, that's right. Uh, Message my wife back. Doo-doo-doo. Yes, by the way, FYI, people, I still have my Helium mobile line. Hey, what's up, Jay Santana? What's up, man? How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Anyways, yeah. So you had them doing that, with Boost Infinite, and then they were like, it was causing so much confusion, so they decided to just like merge the names, and so yeah. I didn't have much luck with Boost Mobile in terms of reception inside my residence. Honestly, Verizon based Sims, the only ones that works great inside my building. It's annoying. Yeah, until until who knows? I mean, people had hopes that when Boost was talking about network switching, that I mean T-Mobile, AT&T, and then their native 5G. I mean, they Boost had made so many claims to what they wanted to do, some very ambitious ideas they had that they could not execute. That was like the hardest thing about Boost Mobile. Because I don't hate the company. I mean, when people say that, like, "Oh, you hate Boost Mobile," like, I don't know. People on Reddit can just be so toxic sometimes, and it's like I don't hate a company. I'm not in love with the company. Like I'm a firm believer you can't hate something unless you loved it. And I'm not a person that loves cell phone providers. Not loyal to any of them. The service is nowhere near as good as when it was on a native dish. Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. So your answer depends on what? I have no idea what you're talking about. Um. So yeah, I mean, I had great hopes that Boost Mobile would fill that void for a fourth carrier in the US. I had hopes that, eventually they wouldn't need to lean on AT&T and T-Mobile, that they could actually stand on their own. And when they were building out their own 5G network, I was just like, yes, like this is great. This is going to be awesome. Make it to where it can get to a point where they're not dependent on other, on their competitors. Because like how weird of a like competition would that be if Boost Mobile was like fully considered an MNO and one of the fourth carriers in the United States, and it's competing against AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, and yet it uses AT&T and T-Mobile. It just, like, to me, like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, someone tried to put it in context where they're like, "Oh yeah, all the other major players, like, they have roaming agreements, and like roaming agreements is one thing, but actually fully depending on another, on a competitor's network to help keep your customers satisfied, that's just, yeah, that was just weakness." Well, I guess I say Liquid Denmark. I guess I have to tell you one thing that you're probably not going to follow me because I don't play video games. Um, I don't play Xbox. I don't play PlayStation. Um, I don't play on the Nintendo Wii. I don't play any of those things. Don't really have time for those things, honestly. Um, you know, that's just my life. My life, I create content on my channel. It's something, for me fun to do and to keep my ADHD calm. And then I work remotely, and then I take care of my four kids. That's what I do. Hey, what's up, man? A lot of people jumping in I haven't seen in a while. Which Pixel do you have? Well, it's not about being perfect, honestly. It's just I can't game. You know what I mean? Now, if I was single with no kids, then of course I would have a lot of free time. Maybe gaming would be something that I would be. I mean, because when I was growing up, I played video games as a kid most of the time. It's like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. That was like my thing back then. But I've been with Boost since Nextel. Android is first phone, so now iPhone Pro Max 17 with Boost. They are great. Oh, okay, cool, cool. I remember the days when Boost was using the IDEN network, and it was so weird because you could buy a Nextel phone and use a Boost SIM in it, but you couldn't buy a Boost phone and put it with your Nextel SIM. It was so weird. Because I remember one of the things I was like heavily into back then and back in the day was what was it? It was I had Boost mobile service, and I wanted to use the BlackBerry. I forgot what BlackBerry it was. Let me search it. But anyways, oh, there it is. Yeah, the 7510, I believe that's what it was. Uh, I was always trying to get the one that my sister had because my sister had Nextel also. Well, she had Nextel and she had a BlackBerry Curve 8530i. And so, yeah, I think it was like the 7510i is what I had. I see it right here. I remember it so well. PDA, and you could do all kinds of cool stuff on it. Well, see, gaming is a better thing, and you're only a year younger than me. You're 42. I'm 43. Um, Drinking or gaming? Yeah, the better option would be gaming, and I think most people would agree on that. So better that as a habit. Um, wow, like over a year since I heard the word black. Yeah, BlackBerry. We do miss out on a lot of phones from way back in the day, and all phones didn't look alike. That was the best part. All phones didn't look alike. Like you knew someone had a BlackBerry, it stood out. Obviously, having the full QWERTY keyboard was like one of the biggest telltale signs. Um, but yeah, but then you know what? Like people still had like the Moto Cube. That was very similar. I never had a BlackBerry Bold though. I like see all these listings on eBay. I don't know if I want to start buying these things and just doing like a nostalgic review on them. Even though most of them are not going to be able to be activated and used anymore, because they don't support today's tech. They weren't future proof to go into that. I mean, could you imagine an old school BlackBerry 7510i, or just even a 7510, right? Like the CDMA model or GSM model, and it had 5G antennas to support today's modern infrastructure. Could you imagine just like how badass that thing would be? But of course, it was weird though because the 7510 had like a almost very similar like an e-paper ink display type. You know what I mean? So let me go back and check comments real quick. Um, so my Pixels is running beta. So currently, right now, my software version on my Pixel 10 is the QPR2 Beta 3.3. So a lot of the features that was exposed in the latest Pixel drop, which is the Android 16 QPR2. A lot of those were, I've already had them for, I think what I took the software update like almost a month ago. So like I was able to beta test it for like a month. And they roll out in waves. I know some people get like pissed off because they're like, why don't they just roll these updates out all at the same time for every Pixel phone that's able to support it? That it would be great, but at the same time, I always like try to explain this. If there was a very bad bug issue, they would rather have out of 1 million people, 10,000 people report the bug issue because it was in the software update, so they can halt sending that update out to everybody else and go in and fix the issue and then continue rolling out the update. So maybe not today, if you check later on this evening or you check tomorrow. That's if you want to OTA install it. Now, if you just want to grab it, you can always use the Google Flash tool with the computer, and you can get the update and just install it through ADB. Just push it into your phone. Having a casual drink is there's nothing wrong with that. I think the last time that I even had a drink, and it wasn't even really much. Um, I think it was around my birthday, which was back in the summer. So yeah, my wife she just bought me two tall boys. I drank that while hanging outside barbecuing, and that was it. Yeah. So like the Android 16 QPR2, I am not gonna get on my Pixel because I'm in the beta program, so I already have beta software installed. So whatever they're planning on for like the next Pixel drop with the next features and stuff like that, I should probably be getting those maybe January or end of December and be able to test those out. Does anyone actually use a Solana phone? No. Well, I mean, there's people out there that have bought the Solana phone, but no, I haven't. I don't know anybody here locally that has a Solana phone. I think a lot of people are really pissed off at Helium Mobile and a lot of the changes that they made, kind of like moving away from rewarding its customers with crypto and only applying those crypto rewards to those who deploy the outdoor hotspots. Nian Dang, what's up, man? What's going on? So yeah, I think helium is in a lot of water. No, I don't give out like directly like that. So well, I mean, August. I can just tell you it's August, not June. I should probably finish up what's in here before I switch flavors. I like this flavor of EG, so. But yeah. Um. Anyways, yeah, went completely like right field, which is cool. It's cool with me. It was just a hangout sesh, nothing. Yeah, yeah. Both my youngest daughter and I guess our sign is Leo. Yeah, more like the end of summer, pretty much. Which is cool now because since like I'm known to be a fan of Pixels, that like my birthday month is the month that they are now doing new device releases, right? Because the flagships come out in August now, so at end of summer, new Pixels come out, and then they're supposed to be adjusting the time for the A series. So there's a lot of people talking about that maybe January, February we should be seeing like the new Pixel A series, so the Pixel 10a. Well, I don't know. We'll see because this year the 9A was supposed to come out in March, but didn't drop till April, just because of a delay. And so, yeah, one thing I noticed though is that I haven't had any issues with my 9A. So whatever the delay was, the issue for the 9A is not something that's like poking its ugly head currently at this time. You know. Oh, I see it now. I'm on Red Pocket. 50% off for it says first month on this one. So they must have changed the promotion from 3 months to only 1 month now. So your first month you pay 15 for the premium plan, and then after that it's $30 a month. Uh, let's see. Unlimited talk, text, and data, 50 gigabytes of 5G premium data. See that already beats out Boost Mobile and their 25. I mean, yeah, it's $5 more, but $5 more, you're getting 20 gigs more of premium data. To me, that's a better deal than what Boost Mobile's offering at 25 with 30 gigs of high speed data. So, you know, for me, using AT&T connection because AT&T is really good, in my city. So being on US Mobile with the unlimited starter plan on the Dark Star connection works out pretty good for me. And I guess it's doing okay with live streaming because I haven't seen anyone really say like it's glitching or freezing or any of that type of stuff. So big ups to the Dark Star. Of course, it's not priority data like their unlimited premium, which is with promotion. It's $10 more. I think it's like what, 35 a month till December 15th. So it's like that promo's gonna end pretty soon. Well, I'm not a big person that's, into astrology or any of that type of stuff. I know what you're referring to because I've seen it, people talked about it on TikTok and there's this other astrological sign that was recognized, but technically it would shift the way that people's birth month and date would align with an astrological sign. I'm not really deeply into that. So but I know what you're saying because I've seen people's debates on that, arguments on social media. It's kind of funny. It's like, yeah. But I get what you mean. Anyways, yeah, Dark Star is actually pretty cool with the unlimited starter. If you go Warp or if you go Lightspeed, which is Verizon or T-Mobile, then it's limited. But the Dark Star is the only one that has the uncapped and unlimited, basically. So, um, yeah, Mobile X that's trying to fight in this whole ordeal with their $25 plan. But again, their $25 plan is just like Boost Mobile's 30 gigs of priority data. And of course, they're switching up their tactics, right? Like if you paid a year in advance on Mobile X, excuse me, on Mobile X, then your monthly cost would come out to $19.90, right? But you're paying a grip up front. But then again, you don't have to worry about paying a phone plan for a whole year. So that could work out. Now, if you have local dealers that sell Mobile X in shop, you can get a fully unlimited plan, but that's at $50. But again, there's two things that hold people back. One, you have to find an authorized dealer. So not a Walmart that sells the SIM kit, but an actual authorized dealer. You have to find one of those shops, sign up, and you can get the $50 unlimited, fully unlimited plan, and then it comes with 15 gigs of hotspot. But I mean, that's $50. That's pretty up there. It's really up there. And at least for the T-Mobile side, Metro by T-Mobile, $25, bring your own device plan. It's good. Of course, caveats to that plan is that it has no mobile hotspot connection to be used. Um, but yeah, that's if you bring your own device. You get unlimited talk and text. You get unlimited data. Of course, after 35 gigs of usage, whenever the network's congested, you will be slowed down during time of congestion, or when you leave the congested area, and then speeds will return to normal. And so that's $25 a month with auto pay, $30 for your first month because obviously you're starting off. So the plan technically costs $30, but like you're getting a $5 discount for auto pay. And then they have a 6 month unlimited plan. So it's $20 a month and it gives you what the $25 plan gives you, but you got to pay 6 months up front, which is $120, which is a pretty good deal because you only pay a bill two times basically, in the beginning of the year and then at the halfway point of the year. 6 months later you pay, and then it goes on to the next year. So that's actually not bad at all whatsoever. Um, and they give you their little side benefits and stuff like that, like the Scam Shield, T-Mobile Tuesday, and all that. It's just, yeah. So $25 plan, you get the unlimited 5G data, talk and text, T-Mobile Tuesday, and Scam Shield. So get the same benefits on those. Of course, they are the bring your own device. So let's see. Oh, I guess the 6 month plan is based on the $40 plan, the $40 limit. I don't know. All these plans that they have is like it just makes people confused. So let's see. Yeah, not bad at all. Leos are the most likable sign. I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know a lot about that stuff. Um, but okay, summing everything up just from what I compared, and I know there's more options out there, but I would say this. Okay, this is just me. People can disagree with me and think otherwise. That's totally fine. It's cool. I'm not here to change people's minds, but this is just what I see from everything that I look at. So if you want a great unlimited experience on the Verizon network, Visible is the way to go. It's just unlimited everything, $25 a month, and you get hotspot with no limitations on it other than that the data is capped at 5 megabits per second by 5 megabits per second. So, but that's still good enough to connect IoTs and to be able to, watch YouTube videos in 480p on your laptop. I mean, it's not going to give you 4K resolution on your laptop, but still, it's not cut off. And then of course the services itself, you know, it's unlimited. And I think like the max cap out that most people experience on the base $25 plan with Visible is like 200 megabits per second download speeds. So that's not bad. Um, if you're wanting an AT&T connection, then US Mobile's $25 starter Dark Star connection, that would be your best option. Um, because I know Cricket had the $25 plan, but that requires 4 lines of service. So it's like a family plan, but not a single plan. So single line users, 25 bucks starter plan on US Mobile. Dark Star connection for AT&T network connection, probably the better option to go to. And then for the T-Mobile side, you have Metro by T-Mobile, which gives you fully unlimited. The downside to it is that it doesn't have hotspot connection at all. So if you're someone who uses hotspot, you're not going to want to really, you're not going to really benefit from that one. Um, I don't think there really is anything else there that's T-Mobile connected that gives you fully unlimited hotspot or at least 20 gigs of mobile hotspot at 25 bucks. So, yeah, that's probably like one of the very tough points about it. Well, it's like 12:11 p.m. I should be going to get me something to eat here shortly. So I haven't ate breakfast or anything like that. I'm not fasting or anything like that. It's just I don't know what it is, and I guess sometimes it kind of makes me nervous because there's like some days where I don't have an appetite at all, and I remember saying this to a friend of mine who was like, I guess they're trying to scare me or whatever. They're like, dude, if you're not getting an appetite or anything like that, you could be close to passing away. I'm like, bro, that's like the worst thing you can tell somebody. Don't make somebody feel like that something's really absolutely wrong with them and that, they're just, yeah, that's like that's like putting bad juju on me. Um, but yeah, honestly, haven't had much of an appetite lately. Um, so I probably should go eat something just to make sure I have sustenance. 'Cause I think this morning, really all that I had was a couple of bottles of water and maybe like a cup of grape Kool Aid. That's about it. That's what I had since waking up. And of course, I still got some more clips that I got to record for the Vlogmas episodes. Like every day, I'm uploading a Vlogmas. I created a playlist, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it. And like they're very short. They're like no more than 5 minutes long. I don't try to like keep it, keep people just like watching a vlog that there's not so much going on in my day. I mean, if I had a lot going on, then yeah, of course, those vlogs are going to be longer. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to participate in Vlogmas and maybe, just give you guys a little bit more of an inside peek to just myself away from all this tech stuff and just like the person that I am. And yeah, so I still got more clips to record. They release every night. So that way they're released on the day of that, they were created. So, day one's day one, day two's day two. So they're not like leapfrogging a little over. Um, but I can't guarantee it though, right? Because I'm working on day four. Was yeah, December 4th is day four, and I still got 21 more days, 21 more days of this vlogging stuff to keep going. And if I can make it to 25 days of Vlogmas, this will be the first time that not only did I attempt to do it, but actually successfully do it. So that's like the big thing there. Um, no, Titus, what's up? Can you guys hear me? Just making sure that the stream didn't break or anything like that. We got like a little bit more time left here. But this is kind of cool though, because I am going back to go see my dad. The beginning of next month before the kids go back to school from winter break. So I'm gonna go see my dad, and I'm gonna go see my younger brother, and I'm going to meet my sister-in-law for the first time. So I'm pretty excited for that. Um, and I forgot what he mentioned. He mentioned a restaurant that we're going to, and the only reason we chose this restaurant is because it's they got like food that the kids would like to eat also, but they do give root beers in a frosty mug. So like they freeze their mugs, and then when you order a root beer, you get served a root beer in that. Every other drink gets served in a regular glass with ice. But this one is in a frosty mug with ice. So we chose to go there, which was right next door to a place called Round One, which has like a lot of those claw games. And so I know my kids love to play those, so we're gonna go play that. Probably do a round of bowling, or maybe play some pool. Not entirely sure, but um, just to like have fun, family hang out and stuff like that. Like I'm doing more reaching out to my younger brother and everything like that, just so that we have that bond and everything because there is a huge age gap between me and my brother. Um, so yeah, I deal with those things. I think we're 10 or 11 years apart. Yeah, he's in his early 30s. So, but yeah, that's like the plan for the end of the month. Um, anyhow, uh, so I guess I'll pretty much like call it at that for like this live stream. I'm gonna go get something to eat, clean up a little bit before I gotta go pick up my kids from school. Um, yeah, so appreciate all you guys for hanging out, chilling out with me and whatnot. Um, wait, actually, I never really played around with any of these settings. What is this? Uh, so you can do like these. Oh my God, look at that! What? Hey, give me a big head. It's gonna give me a big head. Like, oh, there we go. That's just weird. Let's see. They don't have a whole lot. Um, let's go retro. Now I'm playing around with the filters. Oh, okay, it does that. So if we do a dance party, oh my God. Really? And it's funny too because I have like lights over here that blink on my desk. So it would like kind of just, you know, kind of like look at that. Oh wow, look at that. Blue retro makes it seem like it's like late night. We could do the kaleidoscope, which is just weird. Make it normal and then tilt out. I'm sorry, I'm messing around with these filters. They're funny. Let's see, does it make me dead yet? Like I don't know. It says skeleton, supposed to do something. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I guess that one's not working. So, oh wait, there's different ones. This is horror TV. Okay, so they only have these ones, and then they have I don't know. Anyways, all right, I'm done playing around with that. Um, oh, you can kind of mess with the lighting. Okay, cool. That's weird. Uh, effects picker. Oh, that's that. Yeah, we already did that earlier. All right, guys, I'm gonna dip out of here. I know, I know, but I'm gonna dip out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. And yes, I'm gonna go live tomorrow. If B Tech wants to go live with me, you need to hit me up on Google Chat so I can set it up on Restream. Otherwise, I do what I normally do, which is through OBS. So just let me know. Um, yeah, we'll make it happen. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.